This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Ezekiel 38 and 3. And thus saith the Lord, Yahweh thy power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Ezekiel 38 and 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks unto thy jaws. And I will bring thee forth in all thy armies, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Ezekiel 38 and 5. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them, with shield and helmet. Ezekiel 38 and 6. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Ezekiel 38 and 7. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Shalom, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching his word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. I'm going to say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is another recent news article in the sit-down lesson that I want to bring out as of today. And this is a news article from ArabNews.com, and it reads, Belarus, Iran vows to boost ties amends amend the Russia-Ukraine war. And as you see, president of to the left, that's of Iran, and shaking hands with the Bolivian president to the right in the official ceremony at the Saboban Palace in Tehran. And it says that ex-Soviet state Belarus served as a real base for Russian troops. Because keep in mind, Russia and Belarus, they allies with one another. Now you had Russia and Iran. Now their allies is growing stronger and stronger. Now you have the president of Belarus and the president of Iran. Nowadays, economic ties and partner cooperation ties and potentially military assistance ties alliance potentially going to grow stronger as well too. And that's why I brought out the Ezekiel 38 and 7. The Ezekiel 38 verse 1 through verse 7, and the important ones of Ezekiel 38 and 5 and all the way through verse 7. Ezekiel 38 verse 5 through 6 and through verse 7. Those are, important scriptures, because, the Russians, they're going to be a guard to these nations, and Iran is one of them, So the alliances are definitely strong. It is growing stronger between Belarus, Iran, and Russia. And then with the recent alliance agreement between Iran and Saudi Arabia as well too, that kind of definitely worries the Western countries, and it definitely worries the United States and Israel as well too, as tensions continues to grow between Iran and Israel, and tensions between the United States versus Russia. So I just want to, add a note to that. But in the meantime, I'll read this news article. It says, Tehran, the presidents of Iran and Belarus held their close ties and talks in Tehran Monday at a time both countries are sharply at odds with Western powers. Right, the Western countries. They have increasing tensions with. including over Russia's war in Ukraine. The ex-Soviet state Belarus serves as a real base for Russian troops, and Iran is accused of supplying Moscow with armed drones for use in the invasion, a charge it denies while proclaiming its neutrality in the conflict. The neutrality in the conflict. It says Iranian president held 3 decades of close ties with Belarus after talks with his counterpart Alexander Lensko, who arrived late Sunday for a 2-day visit. 30 years after the state of relations, the two countries have the will to strengthen cooperation. Rezai said, praising their common strategic vision. And Leskino, if I pronounce his name right, the president of Belarus, said he observed with great respect and preservation with the Iranian people resist an eternal pressure attempts to impose the will of others on them. And it says, and I see that despite everything, you are developing modern technology and nuclear energy. He added about Iran's consist nuclear program, which has sparked tough international sanctions against the world. We could very helpful to each other if we really put our efforts together, added Lensko. It says the two presidents, who did not mention the Ukraine war in their statement, signal a roadmap to boost political, economic, and cultural cooperation, and potentially military cooperation as well too. It says the Hiskinio is an ally of Russia President Vladimir Putin. And it says Tehran also maintains close ties with Russia, even as it expressed a neutral diplomatic stance on the Ukraine war. Washington has accused Iran of supplying suicide drones to Russia and expressed alarm over a dangerous escalation in a military cooperation between Tehran and Moscow. Iran, which denies supplying drones to Russia specifically for use in Ukraine, has said it has finalized a contract to buy Russian the Sukhoi Su-35 fighter jets. It says Lukashenko recently made a 3-day visit to China, where he voiced support for Beijing's proposal to mediate any efforts to end the Ukraine war, which I highly doubt that's not gonna work, because both sides reject that, from the Ukraine and the Russia side as well too. I would say that was like close to 2.5 weeks ago. I just want to add a note to that. It says Belarus, a neighbor of Ukraine, has not sent soldiers to fight alongside the Russian army, but its territory has served as a real base for troops from Moscow. And Lukashenko visits to Iran has the third ever by a Belarusian president, and the first in 17 years, according to the state-run news agency Belton. So yeah, as I brought out the Ezekiel 38 through verse 7, now you're starting to see the increasing cooperations between Belarus and Iran, and these two nations are allies with Russia now. Now you got the allegiance and potential military alliance with all of these three countries of Belarus, Iran, and Russia. And that's why I brought out the Ezekiel 38 and 7. Russia is going to be a guard to to Iran, Turkey as well too, and other many nations as well too. Going to follow that lead. So that's why we're getting closer and closer to the wars, and rumors of wars are heating up, especially with the current tensions with the Russia-Ukraine situation as well too. And then due to the fact that these same three countries have same similarities of what they're going through, and the tensions with the Western countries, and these the same three nations that go through the same thing. They have something in common. That's why they building a economic alliance and a military security alliance as well too. As this starting to build up more and more and more, the pieces are starting to come together, and it's recorded in the Holy Scriptures of this was going to take place in the latter days, And so with that, I hope that this sit-down lesson was edifying. So, like I mentioned again, now you're starting to see the alliance grow between these three nations of Russia, Belarus, and Iran, because they go through the same similarities. They got hit with, especially Iran and Russia. They got hit with hard economic sanctions from the Western countries, from the United States as well too. As tensions continue to stir up between Iran and Israel, and the United States versus Russia, So that's why this is Ezekiel 38 through verse 7 is definitely coming into full effect. So with that, once again, I hope this sit-down lesson was edifying. And I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.